It's the Brad and John Show.
It is the Brad and John Show. Today's date is the 4th of December. This is the B block, the Bravo block, or the Brad block. And what do we do in the Bravo block, John Combest?
It's time for Brad's Top 3.
And he does it so well.
It's time for Brad's Top 3.
And in the ladies' contract, they have to sing it twice. So ladies, one more time.
It's time for Brad's Top.
And we start off with...
It's number 3.
Okay, John, this is going to be sort of a wacky number 3. Do you know who Kenny G is?
Yeah, he went through a disgusting part of St. Louis yesterday for some photo ops, right?
Well, he was at CBC as well, too, wasn't he? He was in a couple different places.
Oh, no, I thought he was just in the urban core.
No, he was at CBC. He went and talked.
Good for him.
He went and talked to their high school band people and stuff like that. And what's interesting is this is an article that's on STLPR. And the interesting article is he essentially says to these 14, 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old kids, you probably don't know who I am. And one of the kid pipes up. He says, I know who you are. My granny plays your music all the time.
Gosh, that's so funny.
Yeah, okay. So can I give you, this is a Dedum Tops. You're going to have to add this to the list. Can I tell you a really quick, funny Kenny G story that involves...
Yeah, please do, Brad. I'd love to hear it.
It involves me personally. Okay, ready for this?
Yeah.
This has probably been 15 years ago. Kenny G was playing at the Family Arena, okay? And his PR guy got a hold of me. This is when I was doing mornings on this station, but it was a music station. I would do from 6 to 8 o'clock in the morning. And the guy who was his front guy, his what do you call him, this PR flag, says, hey, would you like to interview Kenny G? And I've always been impressed because some people make fun of Kenny G. I think he's an incredible musician. And being a guy that was in band in high school and tried to play the saxophone and never could, I thought to myself, yeah, I'll do it. So I told him, I said, I get off the air at 8. Can we do it like 7:30 or so? So the guy says, yeah, fine. He says, he says, what number to call? I gave him the number. He says, Kenny G will call you personally. I said, okay, great. So I wake at 7:30. Next day, Kenny G doesn't call. 7:45, Kenny G doesn't call. 8 o'clock, Kenny G calls. And I said to him, I go, Kenny, I'm off the air now. I'm on the air till 8, and I'm off right now. And I said, you know what, I'm really sorry. Can we maybe reschedule this? Or if you want, the guys across the hall who were doing the talk show at the time, which was right across the hall from the KSLQ studio, was Brian Nieves. And at the time, he was a state senator. And he says, yeah, he says, I'll talk to them. So I go across the hall, and they're a commercial break, and I go, hey, Brian, will you do me a favor? Kenny G was supposed to call in at 7:30 this morning, and he just called in. I'm off the air. Could you do the interview? And Brian looks at me and sort of gives me a wink. He says, yes, I'll talk to Kenny G. He thought I was punking him. So he takes the call and puts the call live on the air, and for 10 minutes just punks him, just pretending that it isn't Kenny G. And at one point in time, Kenny G says, do you not believe that I'm Kenny G? And Brian just laughs. He says, no, I know you're one of Brad's friends. He's put me up to this because Kenny G would never call into our show. He would never talk to us. He's not, we're just a small little talk station. There's no way Kenny G would talk to us. And it was really funny. And the PR guy called me back and said it was the best interview that Kenny had done because they didn't take him seriously. They didn't ask him and Brian was asking him goofy questions. I mean, just goofy, like, well, this guy's punking us, so we'll just punk us back. So how's that?
Yeah, I get it.
How's that for a
Dedum
Top story? Okay, ready for number 2?
Yeah, let's hear it, Brad.
It's time for Brad's number 2.
It is.
It's time for Brad's number 2.
John, I'm going to ask you, this is a question for you. The story is, and did you have this in your big list?
I'm not telling you. You gotta. If you don't go to my website, I'm not your clipping service on the air, so I'm not going to tell you if I have it or not. Go ahead.
Bayer suing their insurance agency AIG. Did you have this story?
No, I didn't have that. And Brad, tell me how that relates to Missouri politics.
Okay. Well, it's not necessarily Missouri politics.
It doesn't. Go ahead. I want to hear about it.
But it does because there's cases here in the state of Missouri and stuff like that. Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't. Go ahead.
They're suing Bayer is suing AIG, which is their insurance company, because the losses, the claims against them and all these court actions has hit the $10 billion level, which is what? Hundreds of millions is 9, 10. This is 11 figures. Is that right? Am I correct when I say 11 figures? 11.
Yeah, I think so.
So it's 3, 3, 3, and then 2. Yeah. So it's 11 figures. Okay. How in the world, I ask again, how in the world is A, this company still in business, and B, how come, if this is such a terrible chemical, how come it isn't banned? How come I can get off the air and drive a couple miles to a home improvement store or a couple miles to Wally World and buy this stuff off the shelf? Explain that to me, John. I don't understand that.
You're exactly right, Brad. You bring up a great point. And what I would point to, excuse me, what I don't hear Bayer saying today, and just because I don't hear it doesn't mean they're not saying it, but throughout administration, so let's go back to Bill Clinton, George Bush, Barack Obama, Trump, Biden, Trump again, no EPA, no Environmental Protection Agency, no USDA has said that glyphosate is unsafe. Quite the contrary. They say that it's completely safe. Now, like any pesticide or herbicide or insecticide, you follow label directions. But Brad, you ask a great question, and the answer is governing bodies in the United States say, hey, glyphosate, also the active ingredient in Roundup, is safe. So lawsuits, Brad, and some juries say, no, this person came in and has a sad story about a disease they got, and Bayer can afford to pay a few million. Let's just stick it to Bayer.
I just don't understand it, because take any other kind of a chemical. I mean, go back through the history. You and I, you're younger than me by 30 years or something like that. But go back in the history of all these different things. For example, formaldehyde. Formaldehyde was used in certain wood products and insulation and stuff like that. Okay, it's proven to cause cancer. Illegal to use in wood products now. You can't use it for in like paneling and certain wood products that would be in homes because you ingest your smell, you take in the vapors and stuff like that. Okay, gone, off the market. Okay, it's gone. Why?
Yeah.
I don't understand the whole thing. I really don't. I mean,
now, Brent, what I just did a quick search here, and I could be wrong here, but I don't see anything about Bayer suing AIG.
Okay, John, it is on because I saw this. It's on the front page of STL today. Here, let me bring it up. This is where I got this from.
I'm not questioning you. I'm just saying that I don't see it here. You're right, Brad. It's on the front page right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so it hadn't caught up to the old Google yet.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for pointing that out, Brad. That's really interesting.
Right. $10 billion. Okay. We ready for number one? It's always amazing when I know something that John doesn't
do it, Brad.
know. Okay.
And now, big finish, Brad's number.
Okay, John. This was sent to me. And I always get myself in trouble when I talk about things that were sent to me on my text. This was sent to me via text with you included. Is it okay that I talk about this, and is it okay I give the credit to the person who you...
No, you don't. No, absolutely not, Brad.
I can't talk about this?
Brad, is that person involved in Missouri government?
No. No,
they're a lobbyist, Brad, and they're talking about legislation and they're poking fun at someone. So don't read that text on the air, Brad. You don't need to say who it's from. You can just read the text of the bill. Continue.
Okay. This is from Missouri.
No, go ahead, Brad. Burn one of our favorite listeners. Just say her name.
No, because you told me not.
Brad, come on.
You told me not to. Because
go, Brad. Come on.
Okay. This is a bill that was introduced, SB 1299. This act modifies provisions relating to traffic offenses, and the act specifies a minimum penalty of $300 for operating a motor vehicle in a passing lane when not passing and overtaking another vehicle. $300. Now, it gets even worse. The act requires drivers on a 2-lane roadway outside an urban area to pull over if there are 5 or more vehicles immediately following it. Violation of this provision shall be an infraction and shall be punished by a fine of $100. John, that is absolute positive BS. It is totally unenforceable. Let's give a perfect example, okay? a 2-lane road outside of an urban area. Would you consider that to be Highway 94 heading down toward Augusta? Would you?
Yeah, let's say that. Yeah, that's
okay.
a good example, Brad.
So I've ridden that road, I don't know how many thousands of times, going back and forth to the radio station when I used to be in Washmo and my transmitter sites, which I still use all the time. 94 takes me down to the KSOQ transmitter site and the crap transmitter site. Okay, if you're driving along 94 and you look up in your rearview mirror, and first off, in a lot of places in 94, it would be tough to see how many cars are behind you because it's such a windy road. Okay, so how is the police officer going to enforce that? Is he going to sit like in somebody's driveway or something like that and see a car go by and he's going to hit with the radar gun, oh, they're doing 50, it's 55 mile an hour. And then there's going to be, okay, there's car 1, there's car 2, there's car 3, there's car 4, there's car 5. Oh, going to give him a ticket. So then he's going to have to pull out and he's going to have to put on his license sirens, drive like a crazy person, pass those 5 vehicles, then pull you over. Okay? Does that sound like the proper scenario where that would take place? John, get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it. Here's what I think they should do. I think they should pull a Washmo, or they should pull maybe a Lake St. Louis, and they should put in more traffic cameras. And then they should use AI to further track all of our movements. And then you'd be able to very easily identify if cars are within, like, I don't know, a 50-yard range behind the car, and then just mail you a ticket. So what's wrong with having a little big brother watching your every move?
John, and you know what? I think this bill, or it might be 2 bills. I can't remember if it's 1 bill or 2 bill. And it's interesting because it says in this thing I got, which I can't mention the person who sent it to me, it replaces SB 162, which is, it says this provision is similar to SB 162 from 2025, which was the Adam Schnelting bill. I looked that one up, okay? So here we go again. And this is not an Adam Schnelting bill. This is some wackadoodle Republican who is like, once again, the Republicans, they're for less government, they're for less interference in our personal lives. No, they're not. They're for more interference in our personal lives. They're worse than the Democrats, John. I'm telling you, no Democrat would. A Democrat, if you gave this to a Democrat, if you gave this to, let's say we gave this to, who's our buddy that Mr. Beard, the bearded wonder, Michael Burton. If you gave this bill to Michael Burton, he'd go, oh, I'm not going to do this. This is ridiculous. No Democrat in his right mind would propose this legislation. Give it to a Republican, some crazy Republican who claims that they're for super freedom and they should join the Super Freedom Caucus. Some Super Freedom Caucus Republican will be more than happy to put this bill into effect. It's bull. It's BS. And
so don't you think, Brad, on occasion, I'm guessing here, maybe legislators file legislation sometimes to prove a point or to start a discussion?
No, because of the fact that I can tell you.
You don't think they do that?
No, this is some guy who probably lives in like some.
Who is he, Brad?
I don't even have it in front of me.
See, there we go. Now you call them a wackadoodle Republican, but you don't know who it is. You don't know if it's a he or she, and you don't know their name.
Well, hold on a minute. I've got an app on my phone here. Let me do this thing. Okay, it just did a ChatGPT search. Yes, it says true wackadoodle Republican dude. That's what it says right there. It says.
Now, Brad, the question is, instead of picking on Adam Schnelting, will you just say wackadoodle Republican? Or will you still invoke Adam Schnelting's name?
John, I will find this because, see, this is what gets me so frustrated with government. This is something that happened, like we kid about the Adam Schnelting story. You know darn well that Adam Schnelting was trying to make it to Jefferson City. He was late for a Senate hearing or something like that, or he used to be a rep. He was late for a rep hearing, and he's on I-70, and he's trying to do 110 miles an hour in the left lane, coming up to Kingdom City, and there's some guy in the left lane, and there's a tractor trailer in the right lane, and he's going like, rah, 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 and he's on his horn, he's flashing his lights a little bit. I'm going to pass a law against this. That guy should pull over. He's not supposed to be in the left lane. And he goes and he files a stupid bill because some guy made him late for a committee hearing. Okay, here's another example. I'll find out who this guy is, and I'm pretty sure it's a guy, because a woman wouldn't do this kind of stuff. A woman would not have this kind of crazy wackadoodle legislation. Okay?
Yeah, women are known for historically not being emotional and being completely rational. That's a great point,
when
Brad.
they become senators and representatives, they take on a different aura, and they go, ooh, and they sort of mellow out the whole bit, just like Marjorie.
Brad, have you ever heard a woman in the last 10 years go, oh?
No.
Now, yesterday...
What am I missing, John?
I shouldn't poke at you in that way. Yesterday, you said sometimes you used to be able to go into a post office and look down and have to decide what slot to stick it in. And I didn't know that in 63090 you could do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But maybe there was a bill from Senator Brian Nieves or one of those guys that allowed it to happen. I don't know.
By the way, John, here we go with the post office. Okay, Monday before Thanksgiving. So a week ago this past Monday, I mailed something to someone that I know. They got it yesterday. And it went from, this is what's funny about it, it went from one post office to the adjoining post office. In other words, the post offices are like 5 miles apart. And I mailed it the Monday before Thanksgiving. They got it in the mail yesterday. So I'm going like, man, what the hell happened? Remember when the Postal Service, remember when, what was their motto? No matter sleet, snow.
Rain, sleet, snow.
Rain,
I said it
sleet,
yesterday
snow.
on the air.
Right. It's like, what happened? And the crazy thing about this is, think about this. There has not been a dramatic decrease in the number of people that work at the post office, but yet there has been a dramatic decrease in the number of pieces of mail that the post office hires. So in other words, our handles. Don't you think that if there's less volume and the same number of people, the mail should be better than ever? And if you drop something in the mail in the St. Louis area to someone who's maybe, in South County, and I know you don't like that going down there, and you wouldn't mail anything to any South County.
It's disgusting. Yeah, but I get your point, Brad. No, because you need them to send it all the way. You need for them to bicycle it and the bike lanes all the way to the St. Louis processing facility so that it can be scanned for informed delivery and then sent back wherever it came from.
John, I know you're always laughing at me because I talk about stuff from World War II. I read an interesting story yesterday about, remind me of this will be in C Block, about World War II and how the Germans underestimated the Americans. And it wasn't in the battlefield. This is actually a very fascinating story. The Germans underestimated Americans. And that's how your family got here, right? Some German guy's like, well, I'm going to knock up some American broad and see if she'll fall for my story. And then we ended up a couple generations later with Brad. John, in all sincerity, I've told this bizarre story about my grandfather, who I never knew. He died before I was born. My grandfather.
How did you meet your dad? Did somebody come into an office and ask for you?
My grandfather on my father's side was an illegal immigrant from Russia, and my dad is essentially first-generation American, and I am second-generation American on my father's side. So I and that's part of the reason why I'm a terrible grandparent, but that's a whole other story. Okay, we have to take a break. We will be right back. John, you know what? I appreciate you've been very nice to me this morning. I do appreciate that. You've been
Thank you very much. Your mom just texted me, by the way, and said that the show would be much better if women were running it. Ooh, take that, Brad.
First off, she wouldn't be listening to the radio, so I know that's not true. And second off,
that's true. She listens to the streaming, though.
Yeah,
because she doesn't want to touch a radio.
Second off, she's dead, but maybe she's up there in heaven with Camille Winter, and they're,
She's definitely. If you're going to look for your mom, don't look up.
Okay.